Kate Chopin. Kate Chopin, Catherine O'Flaherty Chopin, was born in 1850 in St. Louis, Missouri, to an affluent family. She was formally educated in a Catholic school for girls. At age 20, she married Oscar Chopin and moved with him to New Orleans. The couple eventually relocated to Clouterville in 1879, an area where many members of the Creole community lived. The Chopins lived, worked, and raised their 6 children together until Oscar died unexpectedly in 1882, leaving his wife in serious debt. In her lifetime, Chopin was known primarily as a local color writer who produced a number of important short stories, many of which were collected in Bio Folk in 1894. Now, it's interesting to note that Kate Chopin did not begin writing until after the death of her husband. Her groundbreaking novel, The Awakening, was published in 1899. Many critics claim it was ahead of its time in the examination of the rigid cultural and legal boundaries placed on women, which limited or prevented them from living authentic, fully self-directed lives. The Awakening is an amazing novel. If you haven't read it, I recommend that you do so. Though today it is viewed as an important early feminist work, The Awakening shocked and offended the turn-of-the-century readers. It was all but forgotten until interest in the novel and in Chopin's work in general was revived in the 1960s. During this revival, an unpublished short story was discovered. This story was called The Storm. It was written in 1898 but not published until 1969. The story, which offers an erotic depiction of sex between a man and a woman who are not married to each other, would have been unpublishable by most, if not all, major literary magazines in the late 19th century America. However, 1969, we're beginning civil rights, Woodstock, those sorts of things are beginning to occur in our culture. So this was the perfect time for stories of this nature to become published. At the Acadian Ball and the Storm. The story's title indicates that it was intended as a sequel to At the Acadian Ball, first published in 1892 and reprinted in Bayou Folk. Read together, the linked stories concern 2 couples, one from the upper-class Creoles, Alce and Clarice, and the other from the less prominent Acadians, or Cajuns, Calexita and Bobinette. What begins as a strong flirtation in the first story between Calexita and Alce, both single at the time and from different social classes, culminates in a torrid lovemaking years later in the second story, years after Calexita has married Bobinette and Alce has married Clarice. Beyond the candid, natural depiction of sexual intimacy between the lovers during a stormy afternoon, which includes the scene of a woman clearly enjoying an afternoon of passion, this story does offer a non-judgmental ending. No one appears to be hurt by the affair. In fact, after the storm passes, Alce and Calexita go their separate ways, and everyone the reader is told is quite happy.